Hello, my name is Kerry, and in my last video, I made a demonstration how you can uh, do a sort of convert your website frequently asked question into a conversational AI chatbot. And in this demonstration, I also explained and I promised that I'm going to be making another video to demonstrate how you can create this process and how you can embed this process on your website. And today we'll be discussing on how you can um, embed this particular chatbot into your website, and we're going to be using ReactJS for the front end, which can be eventually embedded on any other types of applications. It can be a Bootstrap, any framework, front end framework application. But we're going to be using ReactJS, and for those that don't have that has WordPress website, so also going to demonstrate on how you can embed into your WordPress application. That's what I do. So let's dive into the process. So the first thing you need to do is that you are going to sign up with DialogFlow. DialogFlow is the artificial intelligence that we're going to be using because it has an inbuilt NLP, natural language processing, and also machine learning (ML). All right, so you need to add on to dialogflow.cloud.google.com. All right, so once you hit on that, so it's going to create and take you to, if you don't have an account, it's going to take you to where you can create an account with Google. But just note, if you have different Google account logged in, you have to select which account precisely. All right, so once you get in, what you need to do is go and create a new agent. All right, because the agent is the one that will be responding to your users once they come and ask questions on the chatbot. So you have to create an agent. So when you're creating an agent, it must not have a space in between. All right, so it has to be a complete word without space in between, or you can use an underscore dash in between. So you have to set a time zone closer to you. Then don't worry about every other settings. Just click on create. Now, this is going to create an agent for you, and this agent will be able to serve your customer once they come ask questions on your website. All right, so you have to as well have your website with public URL to your frequently asked questions ready. All right, so we're not going to be talking about intents today. You can build intents over, but we want to talk about knowledge base. So you are going to be building your conversational through a knowledge base, either frequency asked questions, or you have a question and answer structure, or a sort of database. Then you can now implement that. You have to go back to, before you can use the knowledge base, you go back to your agent settings. All right, then you have to go and enable beta feature and API, because the knowledge base is served through an API logically. All right, so then let's head on back to then every other settings. Don't bother about them for now. If you're going to be integrating through live API into your backend application, then you can do all the settings. But for now, this is sufficient. Then let's head back to, then let's click on, you have to create a knowledge base. So let's just give it a name. All right, so we're going to be creating our knowledge base from this public frequency asked questions, which is Amazon Shopper pay. All right, so we're gonna create that knowledge base so that we can always recognize it from our knowledge base. So we're just gonna name it Amazon Shopper FAQ. Then we click on next. Then what happens is that we have to create where it's going to read from. All right, so what you need to do is here you need to also name it so that you can recognize what exactly on your website you're picking information from, which aspect of your frequency asked questions you're picking information from. Right, so we just call it shopper frequency. So then just select frequency asked question. then the type is text HTML because it's assumed that you have it on your website. Then you go copy the URL to where the shopper frequency asked question is. I mean, your frequency asked questions where you hosted in your website. Copy the URL, then you paste it into that. Then click on enable automatic reload. The essence of this is that it helps automatically when you update your frequency asked questions, or anytime you add a new thing or you change anything, the DialogFlow eventually helps scroll that, then automatically updates your intent inside the artificial intelligence. The beautiful thing about it, so what it's doing now, it's taking time that it's trying to read through your frequency asked questions, reading through the topics, the content, and when it's reading through the topics, it's generating different types of intent for that particular topics. So once that is done, then what you need to do is that you can click on view details to see that it has fully extracted all the information from your frequency asked question. All right, then you can navigate through. Then you can eventually as well at any point in time say, okay, I don't want this particular question to be responded to. Then you can disable it. All right, or probably you're trying to get an assurance of that, and you already have a website, or probably you are trying to make some couple of amendments. So in the meantime, where you correct that on your website, you can just disable that particular question from the chatbot, so that it doesn't respond to that intent when the user eventually asks your bot that question. Then you can enable it back. Then you can also convert it to an intent, but the scope of this lecture does not cover that. For now, is basically knowledge base we're talking about. Then what you need to do is that you need to add a response. This is very important. All right, so once you click on add response, just leave it the way it is and click on next, because if you don't do that, your bot is not going to respond to anything when you eventually or customer asks question about it. It won't respond to anything. Now you also the reason why it's very important to add a response is that you don't want to your customers to feel like your bot is not responding to anything. So once you add this particular response, what it does is that it keeps over and reads, because once you add the URL to your frequency asked questions, it will eventually pick a default fallback message where it gets to return to users when they type in anything that it does not recognize or is not found in your frequency asked question. So what it's going to do is that it's going to return that fallback message to your customer. So what you can do is that later I will show you at the end of the video where you can come to the training to see what are user asking your bot, or so that you can continue to build a frequency asked questions, because it will be recording everything your users tends to ask your bot, so that you can use that to train moving forward in your system. So let us go into how you can integrate. So you can integrate in several ways. All right, you can integrate Slack, different several, but for the focus of this particular lecture today, so we want to see how you can integrate on the web. However, there is a web demo. If you don't have a website, you just created a bot and you just want people to have access to it, so you can take this URL, then you have to enable it. All right, so you copy the URL, then enable it, then it should be available to the public, and you can take that URL, or you can take the iframe and embed on anywhere, maybe on your social networks or anything, anywhere, or your website. Then this is going to come up. Then you can now people can now start using it. But the disadvantage of this is that it has less customization. So you can't really customize it that much. All right, so except if you copy the iframe, for an instance, now there's less customization. It's going to be showing all of this what is it called, DialogFlow, icon and all. So but let's see how you can integrate into your website. So what you need to do is that click DialogFlow Messenger, enable it, then just take the scripts, then you need to dump it to your website. If you can't do that, you can get a developer to help you achieve that. So once you do that, so we are going to be embedding this on a ReactJS application. We have created a boilerplate, ReactJS boilerplate, assumption that you already completed your website. All you just need to do is basically add it in your header, right? So we're going to go, best place to add is to go to HTML index.html. Then I prefer adding it in your header, all right? So you can add it in your header. This is just a boilerplate, all right? So but before we do that, I want to eventually comment out all of this. So because we're going to be talking about these parameters, all right? So let's just first comment it out and let's see what a boilerplate looks like. All right, let's comment it out. Let's run the application. Let's see what a boilerplate looks like. All right, your website naturally without DialogFlow. So this, nothing is on it. It's just a boilerplate. All right, you can see it's just a default ReactJS page. Okay, so now it's an organization that probably an e-commerce application or whatever project you run, then you can have your website. All you just need to do is just dump this into your header, then voila, you found your DialogFlow application here. So you can ask the questions from, if you can ask question like what is Amazon Pay, that is going to look into your knowledge base and it's going to respond to it, right? So the information that is being captured from the frequency asked question is what you can see that I don't have this particular question in my frequency asked question. So what it's going to do is that the first response will be my fallback message. All right, and it's going to return because what I have actually, it is not how much Amazon pay. All right, so what I have actually is what does it cost? So something, it must have a sort of cost. Probably if I'd asked him what does Amazon pay cost, then he might have returned that response back to me. Okay, just to show you that if anybody asks a question that's not in your knowledge base, it's going to return back. Great. So now let's try and customize the chatbot. As you can see here, you can do sort of things. Let's say, for instance, you can expand. Expand simply means that you want a situation whereby the chatbot by itself, when it comes to your website, it just pop up by itself, which would eventually engage the user instantly. You might want to prefer that. Another kind of customization that you might probably want to look at it is to say, okay, I kind of like that logo there. I want to use my logo, so we're going to pick the icon, the application icon, let's say ReactJS icon there, and we're going to say chat icon. Okay, then we're going to put in that URL to that icon into that place. So once you put in the URL, what happens is that you just see voila, the icon changes, so it fully customized the application or the chat application itself. Another way is that you can also at the same time try as much as possible to say you don't like this color, you like color blue, you want to go in line with your template or application color theme. So what you can do is that there's a code you can update. So I'm going to go into is a CSS code. So I'll go into my source and I'll go to index.cxx. Then this code I'll drop the code in the comment section in the description. Then you can pick it there. Just need to update. You can see the color changes. You can change the color theme to whatever you want. You can change the bot message, title bar color. You can change the font color, the title font color, background color, all customizable the way you want it. If you don't know how to do that, you can get your developers to do that for you. Now with this, you can see that we're now able to fully complete. Now let's see how we can integrate in a WordPress application. So I have a WordPress demo content designed already. So I'm going to be logging into the back end of the WordPress. So for those that are using WordPress, it can be any type of WordPress applications, probably your e-commerce, as long as it's WordPress, built with WordPress, then you can do this. So let's see how the default website looks like without a chatbot. As you can see that there's no nothing in it. So so there are several ways by which you can do this. Some can probably want to add it to their template header directly. All right, so from me, it is not a good practice, because if you do that, if you add to the template, if you edit the template header, all right, what will happen, or the team header, what will happen is that if there's a team update and your team updated, it's going to override that. All right, so for me, it is not a best practice. All right, so because of that, I would rather say, instead of updating the header, HTML or PHP of the template or the theme, the best thing is that you could just download a separate plugin. There's a separate plugin that we can use to insert header. All right, so just search for header and footer. So we're going to be installing this particular plugin, insert header and footer. Then we're going to activate this header and footer. Will allow you to add inline JavaScript, CSS into your header without affecting your template itself. So even if you update your template, you will still have your changes there without overriding your changes. So this is why I'm recommending this kind of approach. All right, so let's activate it. Let's hold on for it to activate. While it's activating, all you just need to do is just remember, what you need to do is, once it's done, go to settings, then go to WP header and footer. Right, so you need to copy your code script into the header. Go to DialogFlow, copy the header script, come to your header here, then you dump in the code there. All right, once you're done dumping, all you need to do, voila, just go and run save changes. All right, once you click on save changes, what happens is that refresh your site, then the DialogFlow shows on your website, the chatbot shows on your website. So the same process we have used earlier in customizing the ReactJS, you can also customize. So let's see how we can run this customization. All right, so you can let's try and first run the automatic pop-up here. So let's add expand to the parameters that we have here. Okay, so let's say expand, yeah, so then let's put it true. Yeah, so let's save changes, then let's head on to our website, let's refresh, and it's gonna pop up automatically, right? So good. So let's try and change, let's see if we can change the icon. Okay, so I already have I'm going to change the icon here, the icon of the chat, so the chat icon, right? So I already have an icon uploaded to the median, so I'm going to go add on to the median. I'm going to pick it up. All right, so then I'm going to copy the URL from there, right? So then I'm going to go back to my code scripts, then I'm going to paste the URL, then I'm going to come to save changes. Then I'll add onto my website, then refresh my website, and let's see if the icon replaces. Voila. So we've been able to do that. So the last thing we might want to look at now is to see how we can now change the code to change the color of the chatbot. So you can go to this description, like I said, you will find the script there. So in this case now, because we have to add code, so we have to put in style tag, then we are going to paste in the codes there. Then you can just change, to fit in the code of your template of your website. You click save changes, then let's refresh our website, then you will find that voila, we have the updated. So you can ask the chatbot the question, then it's going to look into your frequently asked question intent, and it's going to respond appropriately to the prospect or customer. Then we can try and look at other questions. Let's try and look at other questions. let's say for an instance, we want to ask this question, like, can I cancel an order? Can I cancel an order? Right? So you have that in your frequently asked questions. It's just going to return the response back to you, and it's pretty much very fast. However, I kind of love the response rate. All right, so I'm asking a questions that it is from the intent, just to cap a bit about it. So you can, because there's a default intent, which is a welcome default intent that will be created, which you can also update this. So this is just natural. People want to come and say, hey, hi, greeting, hello, hi, hello, and all sort of things. Then there's a response database there that the bot can pick from, and then respond to them. So this is just intent, but however it's outside the scope of this conversation. So then all you need to do, of course, you can build intent if you want to. You can just look at it later. So, but there's something important that I want to stress again. I've said it earlier before, but I just want to repeat that. So when you go to your knowledge base and you go to the knowledge base itself, I mean the link that where your frequency asked question is attached to, is important. All right, that you eventually enabled that automatic reload, so that anytime you update your frequency asked questions, you don't have to come back to this place to automatically picks by itself. So that is the beauty thing about it. So however, you've been able to see how we integrate this, and I hope you'll be able to integrate yours as well. So now in the next conversation, I will see how you can check you train. You've seen how you can integrate. You can integrate through several means. You can also disable your integration if you want. Then I'll be talking about how you can eventually train your bot. Once you click on the training tab, so you're going to click on each session, and you will see what the users are actually asking, what the user particularly asked your chatbot, and that will allow you to know what to train, or all you just have to do is just pick those information or data, then go to your frequency asked questions, then update it on your website. You don't have to come to this place. So when you update it, just leave the rest to DialogFlow chatbot. It's going to create the intent and everything required to be able to respond appropriately to the user. This session is very, very good, because it allows you to understand your user, what they're asking, and you'll be able to build upon it. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please try to share, like, and follow, all right, so that you can know whenever I drop in another exciting video. However, I wish to make a new video about how for developers who really want to implement this on a mobile application, or who really wants to implement this for customers, where they can be able to do a sort of webhook where the phrase, or probably whatever question the user asks, could take those phrase or the intent and go into that back-end application, probably a Python, a Node.js application, a PHP application, or whatsoever, to be able to perform certain operations like automatic place order, call informations from database, and all sort of thing, or probably even to call or make a call to a real live customer service agent. So if you want me to do that, please comment and share and like this video, and I'll see you in another one. Thank you.